Welcome to Passive Profit Partners Podcast, designed exclusively for ambitious professionals like you. Here, you'll find the valuable resources and insights you need to embark on a journey of intentional real estate investment, passive income, and achieving financial freedom. Our aim is to equip you with the spiritual, intellectual, and emotional tools necessary for your financial success. Join us in uncovering the treasures of wisdom and practical tools that have enriched the lives of our community. Tune in, not only to explore the mastery we've achieved, but also to engage in the pursuit of knowledge, continuously fueling success. This is your invitation to discover the solutions you've been seeking to enhance your financial frequency and boost your income. We're here to empower you, your financial journey, and provide you with insights and guidance you need to reach your goals. Welcome, dear souls, to an inspiring episode of Passive Profit Partners Podcast. Today, we're going to talk about creating your beautiful life in the best way possible. We call it, How Good Can It Get? Our wonderful expert is PJ Jackson, and she is an author and fourth level coach. She will help us take 100% responsibility for our lives and change the stories we tell ourselves and what they mean. Let's empower your financial journey now.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm so excited to be with you today. So I grew up in the 60s, and for me, my father's biggest goal was either Miss America or Susie Homemaker. I mean, that was about it, right?
Oh, me too.
And I broke all the molds. I joined the Navy, and I was active duty for 14 years. I served in Desert Storm in Turkey. And during that time, I was a single parent. And so I decided that the best thing for me was to get out of the military and support my daughter. And I started going back to school. And so I became an engineer and an applied scientist. And so I started working up the ladder in aerospace and defense. And like with everyone in a career growth pattern, I was striving to everyone else's agenda. From the outside looking in, I had a perfect life. Executive, aerospace, high pay, high visibility. But I call it divine discontent. Doesn't matter how happy you are or how successful everyone thinks you are. If there's something inside you nudging at you and you feel unfulfilled, then you're not really serving your higher purpose. And that's what was happening to me. And that's what was happening to me back in 2016. Now, it started a few years earlier with a stroke. So isn't health the first thing that kicks us?
So much.
And I was scared because a stroke stops how you process and think. And I was making a living by thinking. And usually being the only woman in the room in a engineering aerospace environment, I was scared that I wouldn't make it after the accident, after the stroke. So I started struggling with, what was I supposed to do? Did I want to go back to that success? Or was this sort of like the wake-up call to say, there's something more for you? And that is the story in my book, The Labyrinth Influence, Awaken the Wisdom Within. I started studying under Deepak Chopra for 5 years, and it shifted my mindset from striving to everyone else's agenda, especially the male archetype of what success is supposed to look like, to an internal conversation about Why am I here? What brings me joy? What makes me happy? How can I help others? We naturally mature through personal development, but so many of us just sort of stay in that ego
Yeah.
achievement mode.
Mm-hmm.
And when you start to move into the fourth level of consciousness, which is transformation, you start letting go of fear and you start believing in yourself. And that's what happened. And that's what happened to me. So between writing the book and almost living it out onto the pages, I I retired from industry and I took a year off and tried to figure out what it was I wanted to do the rest of my life. And it's scary, but I will tell you, looking back, it would have been worse staying. And I think your listeners, many of them are at that precipice where
Mm-hmm.
success and money and achievement feel comfortable, but they're not really happy. They're unhappy and they don't understand why. And that's the trigger. That's the mile sign that says change your path.
Right. Stop.
Yes.
Stop. Right. Stop and look and listen.
Yeah, absolutely. So now I'm an intuitive mindset coach and I specialize in a tool called Emergenetics. And the most wonderful thing is to spread happiness and joy while people are finding their authentic self. Because when you are authentic, it doesn't matter what your day looks like because you know you. And it can be a successful day or it can be a challenging day. And life is still wonderful. That's how good it can get when you really, really know you.
Yes.
That's how good it can get.
That sounds so inspiring because that's exactly what I believe and how I achieve my life as well. And I know that our listeners, by listening to this podcast, can just get an inkling, a seed planted that of what they can achieve if they start down this path of self-exploration and self-worth and everything, and taking 100% responsibility. And I just wonder if you think that this has any kind of ripple effect out into the world when people begin doing this for themselves.
Oh, absolutely. So everything is energy. Everything is energy. And our vibrations, every one of your listeners can tell if they've got a high vibration or a low vibration. If you that's the first key, self-awareness. Stop and pay attention. The moment you wake up in the morning, do you have a high vibration or a low vibration? And you are in control of that.
Absolutely.
And so when you say to yourself, today is going to be a high vibration day, you find what makes you flow. It could be nature. It could be cooking. It could be walking and exercising. It could be reading. It could be singing. It could be anything. That's the trick. It's not what someone else tells you it is. It's what you find to be your vibration. But you are vibrating high, it's just the people you meet. Walk into a room with a high vibration and everybody looks at you and goes, wow, I want some of that. What's going on in your life that feels so good, right? And we can control that. And the easiest way to control your vibration is through gratitude.
Mm-hmm. Well, that was going to be my next question, but you didn't need it. That's awesome to give us a tip or a tool of how you achieve these things, how you even start, because people are going to be saying, I want to feel like that. I want some of that, but how do I get started?
Well, and so there's a couple of tools that you can think of, but first and foremost, You are in control of your energy. It can either be expanded or contracted. And just think about the words that you use when you wake up in the morning and you say, "Oh, I feel tired still." Well, you've just chosen a contracted vibration. Or you wake up and you say, "Wow, another day to enjoy." Simple words, but powerful mindset. So the first thing every day is you choose your vibration. The second thing is to understand your path. And this is where we get lost, because if you understand yourself, you can start to understand if you're happy or just complacent. And so many times we're complacent, but everyone around us is happy. "Oh, I love that you have a wonderful job. Oh, I love that you bring home so much money. Oh, I love that you work in the community. Oh, I love, I love, I love." And you're sitting there worn out, feel like you've been run over by a truck, but everybody else is happy.
Wow.
And so you have to take control of where your path takes you. And that's through setting boundaries.
Yes. So important.
So important, because if you say yes to everything, you're actually saying no to yourself.
Yes, I so agree with that. And I had to, growing up in my life as a young person, my parents didn't give me a lot of boundaries growing up. And so as an adult, I had to learn that for myself. And in the beginning, it was like I would say yes, like you're talking about, to everything and everyone. And I ended up the one depleted until I said, "Oh, I'm ending up in a place I don't want to be. I want to change that." And so I started thinking about myself and what I wanted and directing that. And just like you said, feeling good about what I wanted. And my life changed at that point, and it started flowing in the direction where I wanted to go. And I was much happier as a result. And you're talking about exactly the same thing.
Well, and it's scary, okay? Because there is comfort even in the structure of another person's plan for us.
Familiarity, something we know versus something we don't know where it's leading. Yes.
Right. We as humans, we want to be in control. So it's so much easier to stay here and kind of sort of be happy than take a jump to somewhere that I don't know if I'm going to be happy.
Yeah.
But the magic, I will tell you, this is how good it can get. When you set your intention to live a life of purpose, and for me, it is a life of service.
Yes.
And everything that you do every day moves your soul's purpose forward. And you don't even know what that life looks like if you don't take that chance. You've got to take that chance. You've got to trust yourself. And this comes from journaling, having reflective conversations with ourselves, finding someone who is a confidant, someone that cares about us, that will listen, because we don't understand what's going on until we start talking.
Yes.
We start talking about our unhappiness or our stress or where we feel deprived. So many times we're feeling unhappy because we feel deprived of something, whether it's the ability to paint or the ability to have quiet time or the ability to give back in service. If you say, "What would make me the happiest today?" and you go do it. And then tomorrow you say the same thing. "What would make me the happiest today?" and you go do it. That's how you start building this habit that takes you from where you're comfortable to where you're joyful.
So I totally agree with that. And that's where I got my saying, when you can learn to forever is created one day at a time, one moment at a time. And that's what you're saying, to make those decisions about your own happiness one moment, one day at a time. And that will lead you step by step to the ultimate better life that you're looking for, right?
Absolutely. I will tell you the thing that stands in the way of every person that's trying to transform, and that is guilt.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
And when we start to change, everyone around us has something happening to them, right? Like if you are a parent that does everything for the family, and you decide that other people can start doing things and you're going to take time for yourself, and when you go to take time for yourself and things don't get done, you can't feel guilty about that.
Yeah.
Okay. And you have to say it's okay if the laundry's not done today because I need my time. It's okay that I don't help at the community event because I'm going on a retreat, or what's the reason? Yeah. You know, we are taught as children that someone's watching us all the time. It doesn't matter what religion you're in or what culture you're in. There's always someone watching us. And that's a misnomer. It's the energy of the universe that we want to hold ourselves accountable to be good people. But there's no one taking an account to say, oh, you didn't help your family today, you're a bad mother, or you didn't help your community, you're a bad neighbor.
Well, that's usually you saying that to yourself, right? And being the inner critic, what they call the inner critic, and that's what you're talking about, to let go of, and it changes everything, to be honest with you, when you do let go of that and start, because when you start making yourself happy and replenishing your cup from within, that ripples out to where you take better care of everyone else in the long term. You know, I think that's where they got the saying, you know, when if mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy, right?
Well, exactly. And you can't be the best you until you invest in you and spending that time.
Absolutely not.
And every layer of childhood. So I always like to say that the soundtrack of our childhood creates the narrative of our life. And if you can go back to the first time you felt you weren't good enough as a child, it could be you didn't get picked for a team. You could have drawn something and no one said it was nice, or they said it was ugly, or you had an idea and people said that was stupid, right?
Yeah.
Those kinds of experiences latch on to us as we age, and they become these shells that keep us afraid of our voice, our purpose, our passion, because we want acceptance. Oh, definitely. I mean, that's in third grade that we figure out how people like us. And so we become people pleasers and we become yes people. And that's where you have to step back and say, how can I break free of these common fears of not being good enough, of not being accepted, of failing? And the truth is, that's the human experience. Everyone feels like that. And so you shake yourself off and you start your day again. And you say, what am I grateful for today? And if it's only breathing, that's enough. I can remember when I had a very traumatic time in my young adulthood. And I had lost some people and I was just so stressed out. And what I used as a guiding light was that the sun came up every day. That was it. And then it was the sun came up and I had a cup of cappuccino. Then the sun came up and I had a cup of cappuccino. And I hugged my daughter. And so it's just one little thing that you just because you can choose. You take responsibility of your energy, of your life, and your boundaries. And when you do, it becomes this energetic freedom that you now answer to your purpose, right? You're here for a reason. And if you don't do the work to figure out what your purpose is, you spend all the time just swirling around lost. And when you know what it is you're supposed to do here, and you get onto the journey of doing that, taking responsibility for your soul's purpose here just lightens the load. Even on the worst days, it is just so good to know that you're in charge of your life. And that's what's so beautiful about this. And I can tell you that 10 years ago in industry, I wasn't in charge of anything. And it didn't matter how much I had responsibility for or how big my job roles were. I was thinking someone else's plan.
PJ, we need to wrap it up here in a minute or so. And I don't know what happened to can you still see me?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Okay, good. So this has been incredibly valuable information that you have shared with us today. And I got goosebumps talking with you and just feeling the energy. And thank you so much for being with us today and sharing all these amazing bits of wisdom.
Oh, well, thank you, Anne Michelle. I appreciate it so much. And, you know, the truth is we can meet 1,000 people in our journey, but the most important person we ever meet is ourselves.
Passive Profit Partners is a private equity firm dedicated to building genuine wealth through purpose-driven real estate investments, delivering above-average returns for our investors while diversifying their portfolios. Our real estate investment projects create a positive ripple effect in the world, fostering fair employment, supporting entrepreneurs, and elevating community prosperity. Does this resonate with you? Answer that call by investing in one of KPP's projects. For more information, visit our website at www.passiveprofitpartners.com. And if this conversation has provided you with valuable insights, please don't hesitate to reach out. It would be an honor to connect with you and confirm that our message is making an impact. Subscribe and give us a like to stay updated with our latest developments.